Have you ever found yourself waking up at 1 a.m., then again at 3, and maybe once more just before sunrise, all because your bladder won't let you sleep in peace? You're not alone, and no, it's not just aging. What if I told you that 5 everyday habits, things as simple as when you eat dinner or how you position your pillow, might be quietly robbing you of deep, healing sleep? The good news? You don't need medicines or surgery, just a few natural tweaks, and you could sleep through the night like you did years ago. The myth of it's just age. For years, countless people have accepted nighttime urination as an unavoidable part of growing older. It's often brushed off with a shrug, a resigned sigh, or a quiet joke. That's just what happens after 60, right? But what if that's not the full story? What if waking up multiple times a night to use the bathroom isn't a natural part of aging, but a silent signal from your body that something else is out of rhythm? Modern medicine has a name for this condition: nocturia. It's defined as waking from sleep 1 or more times to urinate, not because you're already awake, but because the need to go wakes you up. It doesn't just interrupt your sleep, it disrupts your life. The truth is, it's not just your bladder that suffers. Your memory, mood, focus, and even your heart health are all impacted by fragmented sleep. Take a moment to think about your last few nights. How often have you woken up to pee, only to struggle falling back asleep afterward? You might spend half an hour tossing and turning, and when morning comes, instead of feeling rested, you feel foggy, sluggish, maybe even irritable. Over time, this pattern chips away at your quality of life, but because it happens gradually, it's easy to dismiss. You might tell yourself, "It's fine, I'm just getting older." But there's more going on. Here's something that surprises many people. Most cases of nocturia are not caused by disease or irreversible aging. In fact, over 80% of them stem from small, seemingly harmless habits. What you drink before bed, how late you eat dinner, the way your body holds fluid during the day. These daily choices, repeated over time, can confuse your internal clock, shift your body's hormonal signals, and make your kidneys work overtime at night. The result? Frequent, urgent wake-ups that leave you exhausted the next day. Imagine your body like a well-tuned orchestra. When you're younger, the instruments, your kidneys, bladder, brain, hormones, play in harmony. But as habits shift with age, and especially with changing routines or health conditions, that harmony can go off-key. Your body still wants to sleep deeply, but it's being pulled in a different direction by triggers it doesn't recognize as harmful. The problem isn't age. It's miscommunication between your body's systems. There's a common misconception that waking up at night is a sign of a weak bladder. But that's not always true. In many cases, the bladder is doing its job correctly. It's just receiving the wrong instructions at the wrong time. Your kidneys may be producing too much urine during the night instead of slowing down, or your bladder may be getting irritated by something you ate or drank earlier in the evening. And once this pattern sets in, your brain starts to expect it. You might find yourself waking up even when your bladder isn't full, simply because your body has been trained to interrupt your sleep. Now here's the hopeful part. This pattern can be unlearned. You don't have to keep accepting sleepless nights as your new normal. You don't need a medicine cabinet full of pills or a long list of side effects to reclaim your rest. In many cases, gentle, natural habit changes can help restore your body's rhythm and allow deep, uninterrupted sleep to return. The first step is understanding that nocturia isn't inevitable. It's not a life sentence. It's a signal, and like any signal, it can be interpreted, understood, and addressed. You just need to know where to look. And that's exactly what we're about to explore. In the next part of this video, you'll learn how a single bowl of soup, or a comforting herbal tea, could be sabotaging your nights without you even realizing it. Stick around, because the answer to better sleep might be hiding in your evening routine. Liquid overload. Before bed. We've all heard the advice, don't drink water right before bed. But here's the thing. It's not just about that last glass of water, it's about the entire pattern of liquid intake in the hours leading up to sleep. And more importantly, it's about the type of liquids and foods we consume. Even if you think you're doing everything right, your bladder may still be under pressure long after you've tucked yourself in. Let's paint a familiar picture. Dinner's done, you're winding down. Maybe there's a bowl of warm soup, a juicy slice of fruit, or a relaxing herbal tea before bed. It feels comforting, and maybe even healthy. But without realizing it, you're quietly loading your body with fluids that take hours to process. Even if you avoid that glass of water at 10 p.m., that chamomile tea you had at 8:30 is still moving through your system, and it's going to knock on your bladder's door right around 2 or 3 in the morning. Your kidneys are remarkably smart. They're supposed to slow down at night, producing less urine so you can sleep uninterrupted. But when you consume too many liquids close to bedtime, even in the form of soups, fruits, or hydrating foods, your body doesn't get the memo to slow down. Instead, your kidneys keep working, your bladder keeps filling, and your sleep keeps getting cut short. There's also a little-known hormone at play here, vasopressin. It's your body's natural signal to hold on to fluids overnight. When your hydration patterns are balanced earlier in the day, vasopressin levels rise in the evening and help reduce nighttime urine production. But if you're overloading your system with liquids in the hours before bed, this hormone can't do its job properly, and that leads to more wake-ups. Let's talk about someone who made a simple change with big results. Picture a woman in her early 70s. She's been waking up 4 or 5 times a night for years. She's tried everything from limiting her fluids after dinner to sleeping with the lights dimmed. But nothing helped. What finally worked wasn't cutting out fluids altogether. It was shifting them. Instead of drinking tea at night, she moved her comforting beverages to earlier in the day. Instead of having soup at 7:30, she had it at 5:00. Within 2 weeks, she was sleeping through the night, something she hadn't experienced in over a decade. That's how powerful this change can be. So here's the habit. Start setting a liquid cutoff time, ideally 3 hours before bed. That means no drinks, no watery fruits, no broth, no teas during that window. If you're someone who gets thirsty late at night, keep a small bottle near your bed, just enough to sip if absolutely necessary, but let it be the exception, not the routine. And if you take medications that make you thirsty or require extra fluids, speak with your doctor about shifting your intake schedule earlier in the day. Timing matters, sometimes more than quantity. Think of it this way. Your bladder isn't misbehaving. It's just responding to what you've given it. And when you stop feeding it late-night work, it stops waking you up to clock in. It's a simple shift, but one that can return hours of deep, restful sleep to your nights. Now, you might be wondering, if liquids are causing so much trouble, what about the food I eat at night? That's a good question, because as it turns out, what you eat and when you eat it can have just as much of an effect as what you drink. Late dinners and natural diuretics. You might think a light dinner with some fresh vegetables and a cup of green tea sounds like the perfect end to your day. But if that meal is landing on your plate too late in the evening, or if it includes ingredients that act as natural diuretics, it could be the very reason you're up and down all night. Here's the truth that catches most people off guard. It's not always the volume of what you eat, but the timing and contents that matter. Many everyday foods, even ones labeled as healthy, can gently stimulate your kidneys, triggering the urge to urinate. Cucumbers, tomatoes, citrus fruits, leafy greens, celery, chocolate, coffee, and yes, green tea. All of these are known natural diuretics. When consumed late in the day, they quietly send your kidneys into overdrive right when your body is supposed to be winding down. Let's say you eat dinner at 8:30 p.m., which is common for a lot of people. Afterward, you relax with a soothing herbal tea or maybe a few bites of watermelon. You feel calm, even sleepy, But your bladder has other plans. Diuretic foods and drinks don't just digest and disappear. They kick off a process that continues for hours. Your kidneys begin filtering more water out of your blood. Your bladder fills faster. And before you know it, it's 1 a.m., and you're shuffling to the bathroom again. One of the biggest issues with late dinners is how they interfere with your body's natural circadian rhythm. Your digestive system, your kidneys, your hormones, they all follow a clock. And when you eat too close to bedtime, especially foods that activate your kidneys, you throw that clock out of sync. Your system is trying to process dinner, digest fluids, and balance your hydration, all while you're trying to rest. The result? Shallow sleep, frequent wake-ups, and a lingering sense of fatigue the next day. Now, consider what happens when you move dinner to an earlier time, say 6 or 6:30 p.m. Not only does this give your digestive system a chance to do its job before you lie down, but it also gives your bladder a break. It allows your body to handle the workload while you're still awake and active. That alone can drastically reduce nighttime urination and improve overall sleep quality. There's a story of a man in his late 60s who had struggled with sleep for years. Every night like clockwork, he was up at 1 a.m., 3:30 a.m., and 5 a.m. He assumed it was just part of getting older, but after speaking with a specialist, he made two changes. He moved his dinner 2 hours earlier and completely cut out green tea after 4 p.m. That's it. No medication, no complicated routine. Within 10 days, he was waking up only once a night, and within 3 weeks, he was getting 6 uninterrupted hours of sleep, something he hadn't had in more than a decade. These kinds of results are not rare. They're just rarely talked about. So here's the key. Finish your main meal at least 3 hours before bed. Avoid natural diuretics in the afternoon and evening, especially after 4 p.m. That includes anything with caffeine, watery fruits, and even some vegetables that are high in water content. It might sound restrictive at first, but once you experience the difference in your sleep, it won't feel like a sacrifice. It'll feel like freedom. Your body craves rhythm. When you eat earlier and more mindfully, your system has a chance to settle into rest mode, not work mode. That calm carries into your sleep, and that sleep becomes deeper, longer, and more healing. Still, there's one more habit that surprises almost everyone. It's something you've probably been told to do your entire life. It sounds helpful, even responsible, but it could be training your bladder to wake you up more often than it needs to. The just-in-case bathroom trip. It's a habit passed down for generations. Go to the bathroom before bed, just in case. It seems logical. Why risk waking up in the middle of the night when you can empty the tank before your head hits the pillow? It's a routine that feels safe, almost protective. But for many people, this well-meaning ritual might be doing more harm than good. Here's what most don't realize. Your bladder is a highly adaptive organ. It's made of muscle, and like any muscle, it learns patterns based on what you repeatedly do. When you go to the bathroom without actually needing to, you're teaching your bladder to feel full, even when it's not. Over time, the signal to urinate starts triggering at lower and lower volumes. What used to be a gentle urge when your bladder was actually full becomes an overreaction to a few ounces. It's called bladder conditioning, and it can silently lock you into a cycle of light sleep, frequent wake-ups, and unnecessary trips to the bathroom. All because your body has learned to anticipate the signal instead of respond to a real need. Now imagine this. Someone in their mid-70s who follows the same bedtime ritual every night. A little reading, a warm drink, and that just-in-case trip to the bathroom. They don't feel the urge, but they go anyway, convinced it will help them sleep longer. Yet they still find themselves waking up multiple times during the night. Sometimes with only a slight urge, sometimes with none at all. And each wake-up is followed by tossing and turning, making it harder and harder to fall back asleep. After speaking to a sleep specialist, they try something new. Instead of going to the bathroom on autopilot, they start paying close attention to their body's signals. If there's no true urge, they skip the trip. Maybe they read a few more pages, or listen to calming music, or do some light breathing exercises. At first it feels strange, even risky, but after just a few nights, they notice something incredible. Fewer nighttime wake-ups, longer stretches of uninterrupted sleep, and a sense of trust returning between their body and mind. This approach is called the true urge principle. It's simple. Only respond to your body when it truly needs you to. Not out of habit, not out of fear, just real, physical need. When practiced consistently, this method can retrain the bladder to hold a normal amount of urine, usually between 300 to 500 milliliters, instead of reacting to smaller volumes. Over time, your body stops sending false alarms and your sleep deepens. It's also important to note that for people on diuretics or those managing certain medical conditions, adjusting this routine should be done with a doctor's guidance. But for the majority of people struggling with nighttime urination, this shift in mindset can be powerful. Sometimes we don't realize how deeply our routines shape our biology. Something as small as a just-in-case trip can echo throughout the night, costing us rest, clarity, and energy the next day. But when you begin to listen to your body instead of preempting it, you may be surprised at how quickly things change. So the next time you reach for the bathroom light switch before bed, pause. Ask yourself, do I really need to go? Or is it just the habit talking? That one question could be the beginning of better nights. Now that we've addressed your routines before bed, let's turn to something even more surprising: the way you sleep and how your posture might be sending the wrong signals to your bladder without you even knowing it. Sleeping posture and the wrong pillow. Most people don't give much thought to how they sleep. It's simply the way they've always done it. Maybe it's curled up on one side, flat on the back, or stretched out on the stomach. Add a favorite pillow, too high, too low, maybe even two stacked on top of each other, and it becomes a nightly ritual that feels harmless. But what if that routine is quietly disturbing your bladder and stealing your sleep? Here's the surprising truth. Your sleeping position and pillow height can significantly affect your body's internal pressure, circulation, and kidney function, all of which influence how often you feel the urge to urinate at night. Take stomach sleeping, for example. It may feel cozy or comforting, but this position places subtle, consistent pressure on the lower abdomen. That pressure can irritate the bladder or stimulate it to send signals to the brain that it's time to empty, even if it's not full. Over time, this leads to waking up in the middle of the night for no good reason, sometimes multiple times, with a bladder that's not even close to full. Then there's the issue of circulation. Poor posture and unsupportive pillows can affect how blood and fluids move through the body. During the day, gravity naturally pulls some fluid down into your legs. That's why some people experience swelling in their feet and ankles. But when you lie down to sleep, those fluids return to the upper body and re-enter the bloodstream. The kidneys, seeing this influx, increase urine production to balance fluid levels. And suddenly, you're waking up needing the bathroom again. One of the most effective changes for many people is shifting to a side sleeping posture. Specifically on the left side, this position helps align the spine, relieve pressure from the bladder, and promote healthy circulation. Pair that with a pillow that supports the natural curve of your neck, not too flat, not too raised, and you allow your body to fully relax rather than compensating for tension or imbalance all night long. There's also a benefit to placing a small pillow between your knees. This simple addition reduces stress on your lower back and hips, aligns your spine, and supports deeper rest. When your body feels supported, you're less likely to shift, toss, or wake up from unnecessary signals. Consider someone who had always slept on their stomach for decades. They swore by it, believing it helped their heart rate stay calm. But after struggling with nighttime urination and back pain for years, they reluctantly tried side sleeping with proper pillow support. The change didn't feel natural at first, but within just 2 weeks, they were waking up only once per night instead of 4 times. They also noticed reduced stiffness in the morning and a clearer head throughout the day. The posture they had clung to for comfort was, in fact, the thing disrupting their rest. It's easy to overlook the role of physical positioning during sleep, especially when so much focus tends to be on food, fluids, and routines. But your posture sets the stage for how well your body can enter deep, restorative rest. And when that's compromised, everything from bladder function to hormonal balance gets thrown off. So tonight, take a moment to assess your sleeping setup. Is your pillow aligned with your spine, or is your neck tilted at an angle? Are you putting pressure on your abdomen without realizing it? Could a small shift, a different sleeping side, a better pillow, a little support between the knees, make the difference between broken rest and a full night's sleep? Sometimes the key to better sleep isn't found in what you eat or drink, but in the way you simply lie down. And as you'll see next, even the temperature of your room and the fabric you wear to bed can have just as much of an impact. Let's talk about that room temperature and sleepwear. Sleep isn't just about closing your eyes. It's about creating the right conditions for your body to fully relax and restore itself. And while we often pay attention to what we eat or drink before bed, one of the most overlooked influences on nighttime urination is the environment around us, specifically your room temperature and the clothes you sleep in. Think about this. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night feeling hot, sweaty, and uncomfortable? You might assume it's just the weather or your age catching up to you, but beneath that discomfort, something more subtle is happening. Your body is trying to regulate its temperature, and that process directly impacts how much urine your kidneys produce during the night. Here's how it works. When your body overheats, your blood vessels expand to release excess heat. That increased circulation speeds up how quickly your kidneys filter fluid, leading to more urine production. The warmer you are, especially under heavy blankets or thick sleepwear, the more your body fights to cool down. And part of that cooling process includes activating your bladder when you least want it to. Now imagine someone sleeping in thick flannel pajamas, bundled under a heavy comforter, with the windows shut and no airflow. Even if the room starts out feeling cozy, it quickly becomes a heat trap. As the night goes on, the temperature around the body rises. The kidneys respond by producing more urine, and the result is familiar: frequent, annoying trips to the bathroom that interrupt deep rest. Compare that to someone who adjusts their sleeping environment. They wear lightweight, breathable fabrics like cotton or bamboo. They keep a small fan on or crack open a window to let cool air circulate. They choose bedding that insulates gently without trapping heat. Suddenly, their body no longer has to fight to stay cool. Their circulation stays balanced, their kidneys stay calm, and the need to get up during the night drastically decreases. This isn't just about comfort, it's about biology. Studies show that the ideal sleeping temperature for most adults is between 65 to 68 degrees, 18 to 20 degrees C. Within this range, your core temperature can naturally drop as you fall asleep, a signal your brain interprets as time to rest. But when your room is too warm or your sleepwear too thick, your body can't drop into that restful state. And without it, your bladder stays alert, your kidneys stay active, and your sleep stays broken. Let's go back to a woman in her late 60s who had been struggling with nocturia for years. Every night she'd wake up soaked in sweat and frustrated by 3 or 4 bathroom trips. She had always believed that staying warm at night was important. It made her feel safe. But after learning how temperature affects kidney function, she decided to make a few small changes. She swapped her heavy pajamas for soft cotton. She opened her window slightly to let in fresh air. She used lighter bedding and kept a fan on low to circulate the air. The result? Within a week, her nighttime awakenings dropped by half. By the end of the month, she was sleeping 5 to 6 hours straight, something she hadn't experienced in years. And it all started with adjusting her environment, not taking a single pill. The takeaway here is simple. Your bedroom should be a place of cool, gentle comfort. Not too hot, not too tight, not too heavy. Let your body breathe. Let your skin feel fresh air. And most importantly, give your internal systems the signal that it's time to slow down and rest. If you tend to feel cold at night, layering with light, breathable fabrics is far more effective than piling on thick materials. And if sweating or discomfort still wakes you up, it's a sign that your body is working too hard, and your bladder might be paying the price. So take a look around your bedroom tonight. Are your clothes helping your body stay cool? Is your bedding light enough? Is the air moving gently through the space? These details might seem small, but they could hold the key to unlocking your deepest, most restful sleep in years. And now that you've seen how these 5 habits quietly affect your nights, there's one final question to ask. What's really been waking you up all these years? Let's bring it all together. If you've been waking up night after night thinking it's just a part of aging, now you know it doesn't have to be. These 5 small habit changes could be your path to peaceful, uninterrupted sleep. If this helped you, leave a comment below or simply type HOPE. And don't forget to subscribe so we can keep walking this journey toward better health together.